Guys, and welcome back to another Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 video. Today we are going to learn how to start up this behemoth of an aircraft, otherwise known as the 747-800. Before we get into the video, if you would like to see more Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 content, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell when you know when I upload a video. Also, I have a Discord server that you can join and find other people to fly in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 with. The link to join will be in the description. Let's get right into this video. Alright, so starting up the 747 is actually not that difficult in this simulator. We don't have to do a lot of things to start it up. Now you may look around the cockpit and think, wow, there is a lot of buttons in here. But most of them we don't need in order to prepare the aircraft for taxi and start the engines and get ready for takeoff. So the first thing you're going to want to do, we are cold and dark here, as you can see, is navigate up to the overhead panel right here. And over here on the side, right here, this big old panel, this is your electricity panel. What you want to do is open this button guard right here that's under battery and turn the battery master on. And then close this guard again, just like so. Next, what we want to do is get our external power on, and we can see that right here, external power 1, and there's also one on the very opposite side, external power number 2. Go ahead and flip both of these on, and what that does is it gives power to the aircraft. So now we are all powered up using our external power. Next, what we want to do is get our APU up and running. Now usually you don't do this until you're ready for pushback, and once all your passengers are on board the aircraft, purely for saving fuel. But for the sake of this video, we are going to start the APU. So going back to this same panel, right here, this little knob right here in the upper right hand corner says APU, and we have off, on, and start. All you want to do is use your mouse wheel and twist it to on, and then twist it to start, and it'll automatically switch back over to on. And we are now going to wait until this APU is nice and started up. And we know it started up when these APU gen right here beside the external powers light up and say available. So our APU generators now say available, and we can click on both of these here, APU Gen 1 and APU Gen 2. And we are now on auxiliary power unit generators. Now the auxiliary power unit is located in the very tail of the aircraft. It's just a little jet engine that provides electricity to the aircraft, and it also allows you to start your engines up. At this point we can navigate down to our lighting, which is in the very lower right of the overhead panel, and this beacon light right here on the very left of it needs to go to both. This is letting other aircraft know that you are about to start your engine, and the beacon light is right here, this red flashing light. There's also one on the bottom, which I don't think I'll be able to see. That is why it is a three-way switch. We either have both off or beacon lower. Alright, so at this point we can actually go ahead and get a pushback from the tug. So what we want to do is go to our air traffic control, and then go to ground services, and then tune, I'm at Charlotte, your airport may be different, just tune the ground at whichever airport you are at and request a pushback.
Charlotte ground, Boeing Alpha Sierra.
And after we do that, what we can do is go ahead and flip on all of our fuel pumps, which is going to be in the very middle. We want to turn all of these on that are currently blank. So this one, that one, all four of these two in the middle, these two up top, all four of these on this side, and both of those. There we go. And we're going to wait for this tug to attach to the aircraft. And once it does attach, we will release our parking brake and get our engines up and running. Now, on this aircraft, the APU bleed is already on. It's located right here, the engine bleed, so we don't have to worry about that. Next, what we want to do is come up to this start. It has four little knobs, pretty much in the very middle of the overhead panel, and pull out number 4. Alright, and after that, we want to navigate down to our throttles, and not reverse. I don't know why it's doing that. There we go. Alright, and right under the throttles, you're going to see these little weird ball-shaped knobs. We'll flip number 4 on, just like that. And now we can watch this panel right down here. We can see this is starting to climb, and this is starting to climb up. And if we go outside the aircraft, we can see that engine is spinning. And it is starting up. I'm actually going to get the tug to steer to the left.
Ground, Boeing Alpha Sierra, 747 requesting pushback.
Alright, and you know this engine is done starting up when this starter goes back in. Just like that. And we just repeat. So, go to engine number 3, pull out the starter, go below the throttles, and flip this little ball thing. Like that. Alright, I'm going to get him to push me back straight now.
Charlotte ground, Boeing Alpha Sierra, 747 requesting pushback tug to push the aircraft straight.
And now guys, I am actually skipping over the FMC in this video. It's pretty much, if you saw my Airbus A320 startup, it's pretty similar. We have very similar buttons here. Your departure and arrival and everything here. I will do a video on the FMC for the Boeing 747. Alright, and that starter has gone back in, so we can start number 2 here. Remember, flip that starter and flip this little ball. And this is starting to climb. There it goes. It seems a little buggy. At this point, while we are waiting for our engines to start, we can go ahead and set our auto brake, which is located right here, all the way to max over here. Sorry, not max. I didn't even see this. You just want to put it straight down to RTO. This stands for rejected takeoff. And this is purely in case you do need to abort your takeoff for any reason. Your auto brake will kick in. Alright, and lastly, engine number 1, pull it out and hit this little ball shaped knob down there. And since the tug is out of the way now, we can go ahead and flip on our taxi lights, which is going to be right beside this beacon light, kind of in the middle here. This is where your landing lights, your runway turnoff lights are, and your taxi light. So, flip that on. It's a little light right out here in the front on the nose wheel. And we can set our flaps to 5 because that is generally the flap setting for takeoff in a Boeing 747. Alright, and we now have all engines up and running. So, with the engines up and running, we can flip our auxiliary power unit to off now, since we are running off engine generators, and that'll flip off the APU generators. And with our taxi light on, this down here set to RTO, and our flaps down, we are ready to taxi to the active runway and take off. So I'm now holding short of the active runway here at Charlotte. All you need to do when you're holding short is flip on your runway turn on lights, which is right beside your taxi light, and all 4 of your landing lights. This is going to flip on a lot of lights in the front of your aircraft. And with that being said, we are now ready for takeoff. So we can go ahead and taxi onto the runway. Now the 747 is like a bus. It is kind of difficult to turn. So line up, you kind of want to swing way out in order to get the entire aircraft onto the runway and straight and lined up. So you kind of swing out to here and then you make that turn. You got to kind of go slow. And see, I didn't swing out quite far enough actually, so I need to go forward a little more and then we can swing it back around. And that lineup looks pretty decent there. You can check it by just going to the rear of the aircraft. Yep, that's a very good lineup. Alright, and for added realism, if you want to, you can throttle up to 40%, indicated by this 4 right here. And make sure the engines are stabilized, and then you go all the way up, full power. So let's go. I don't have my parking brake set. Nope. Alright, so 40% power, about right there. Make sure they're stable. And they are really stable. Let's go. And now rotate speeds for 747 is about 160 knots. And the rudder is like super sensitive, so you got to kind of be careful. Also, you're going to want forward pressure on the yoke, or the nose will start to come up. There's 115, 120. And then we can start to release this forward pressure at 160. And the aircraft just lifts off the ground. Just like that. Alright, and after takeoff, we can lift the gear up. Just like that. And if you did have a airport plugged in to your FMC, it would show up on this map here. But I do not. At this point, you would start to follow the line to your destination and eventually engage the autopilot. Real quick on the autopilot, we have our altitude over here. The engage is right here, this command. There's 3 different commands. Left is the one that you really want to use. And if I engage it just like that, now I can engage altitude hold or vertical speed, and we can ascend. This is going to ascend me right up to 10,000 feet. We have our heading, and you can press this button and a purple line appears. Now the aircraft is going to align itself with that heading. Speed hold over here, you can crank it up. Auto throttle's automatically armed, and speed hold automatically gets armed when you engage the autopilot. So you don't even have to touch your throttles anymore. So 250 knots is good whenever you are under 10,000 feet. We can also clean up the aircraft by raising the flaps, just like that. We no longer need our runway turnoff lights or our taxi light. And I forgot to mention, your strobe light should be on. Alright, and we are now on our way to nowhere, essentially. So, yep, that's going to do it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned how to start up the Boeing 747-800. Be on the lookout for more videos regarding this aircraft and the FMC. And full flights are soon to come out. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. And join the Discord if you want to. I'm always looking for new members. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.